So a 10-year-old child was raped in Dublin by a boyo housed in a hotel. And first off, I want to say this. So to any of the liberals that are watching this, the far leftists, the communists, the people who want the destruction of their own nation and everything that it was built on, I can acknowledge that there's individuals that have came here illegally that are good, decent people that wouldn't even have that in their psyche to do that to a child, and they're productive members of society now. So I get that there's nuance within this conversation. I get that, and I understand that we have our own individuals that commit heinous, serious, terrible sexual acts against children. And what I would say to that is, why do they only get 6 months? Why do we live in a society where somebody who says hurty words online can get more time in prison or have a harsher punishment than somebody that commits a terrible act against the child? I'm asking that question, and if somebody could answer that question for me, that would be fantastic. However, we're not talking about the good, decent people that have came here to work and assimilate. I work around these people all day. I would consider 2 friends that are Somalian Muslims, and we get on like a house on fire. We speak about Jesus, we speak about politics, we speak about society, Somalia, Kenya, Africa, we speak about everything, and these individuals aren't woke, and I like them and they like me, and we get on. I work around lots of foreign men and women that are good, decent, hard-working people. We're not really speaking about those individuals, are we? We're speaking about the individuals that have travelled through multiple different safe countries to arrive here in Ireland or Britain because this country gives out the most welfare tourists. Well, you want proof of that? You've got Roderick O'Gorman putting out tweets in 8 different languages saying, look, we're open for business. So what type of an effect do you think that tweet had? Well, if you're an individual and you're in Africa, the Middle East, and you're saying to yourself, well, I don't want to be in this shithole anymore. Maybe you've got a lot of sexual things under your belt. You're not convicted because there's no laws in those countries. It's completely corrupt. Well, I may as well go there because they're going to give me everything. Look, even their politicians are tweeting about it. So that's going to have a ripple effect, and that's going to send out the message that we are weak. So a 10-year-old child being raped, dragged in, raped, and by the way, I have to add, this 10-year-old child was missing from Tusla, which then I put up on my YouTube posts. Ireland has a child trafficking problem, because every time I look into Tusla in my previous stint on YouTube, there was always some conspiracy or some controversy around a child going missing and people not being vetted within Tusla and outsourcing certain companies to look for accommodation for children, and these people weren't even vetted and they were around vulnerable children. So there's the little girl from Africa trafficked in and then stolen from the social services of Ireland within like 45 minutes. She was found in a brothel a year later in a brothel at the age of 15. And like Limerick or something, forgive me about the location, it could be wrong. So Ireland has a child trafficking problem, and we've got a corruption problem. So there's children being raped, harmed, murdered all the time in Ireland. You're just not hearing about it. The politicians know about it, the government knows about it, and this time it was so blatantly obvious that the government couldn't turn a blind eye, because there was a child that was dragged in. She was 10 years of age, and she is 10 years of age, and raped. So it's right in front of your face. There's no hiding it. It's right there. But you better get used to this, because these entitled people that are coming in, the welfare tourists, not the good, decent individuals coming into work, but these entitled individuals that I call the welfare tourists that have traveled through 4 different safe countries to arrive here. These individuals are being protected by the government. Now, I'm not proposing any harm against any of them. We live in a civilized society, and I wouldn't be for the murder or for the hurt or for any criminal act to be put upon anybody. However, what we need to do is we need to take the financial incentives away, because they're here because of the financial incentives. The government has given them extreme financial incentives to be here. If the Nigerian government said to me, look, Irish men and women, white Irish men and women, we're going to put you up in a hotel because your government's turned tyrannical and you're fleeing persecution. And we're going to give you a mobile phone and a PlayStation, and we're going to call the native population of Nigeria far right for opposing this. I would think to myself, do you know what? I wouldn't mind a bit of warmer weather, so I'm going to take a wee trip over here. Do you know what I mean? They're giving me a financial incentive to go. And I'll travel through multiple different safe African nations before I arrive in Nigeria, because they have given me the financial incentive to come. So this is what it is. If you take away the financial incentive, these individuals will remigrate naturally. That's what will happen. And we need to implement financial incentives for our own people, because right now we've got Irish men and women having to leave the country because, one, they feel like it isn't safe for their children because of the way it's going. Two, the way the job is here, the socialistic system is not working. It's not breeding progression, it's breeding regression. And they're thinking to themselves, well, for me to progress, I need to move away. Bring back the financial incentives for our own people. Take it away for the welfare tourists that are in the hotels. Everybody's got blood on their hands here, folks. Not everybody, but a lot of the top dogs have blood on their hands. The hoteliers, the government, the politicians, all of them. All of them. And politics has destroyed this island. We need to get less political. Let's advocate for less government. Let's get all of that shit away, all those departments away that we don't need. A 10-year-old girl was raped in Dublin by one of the boyos in the hotels. There was riots. I'm not promoting riots. I'm not condoning the riots. I don't think anybody should do that. There should always just be peaceful protests. However, I can understand people's frustrations. There was the Ballymena incident, and there's going to be many more, folks, because the government is not changing. They are hell-bent on their agenda. And what it's doing is, on a side note, what this is doing, it's creating racism within the country, because I had to check myself. I had to speak to people and talk to people from different cultures and that are here of different skin colors to really check myself to say, am I going crazy here? And to a certain degree, I fell into the traps of online. So you have to I really need to state this. There's good, decent, hardworking individuals from all around the world that are working here. However, we are a populace on this island under 8 million. And the introduction of lots of people, even 100,000 people, has a drastic effect on our demographic. So we need to be careful with that, and we need to do this the right way. We are Irish men and women. We have a history, we have a heritage, we have a culture. We are not mongrels, and we say absolutely no to what's happening in these hotels and what the government is spending its money on, our money.